The NaviPro IT Break, 15 entertaining minutes with our experts on hot topics. They're designed to help you keep up to date on the latest IT trends. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this IT Break, 15 minutes with our experts, edition 43. My name is Pierre Tocci. I'm your host today. I'm a senior consultant at NaviPro, specializing in IT transformation strategies. And today my guest is Dennis Ryan. Dennis is an email fraud defense director at Proofpoint. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Hello, Pierre. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk security with experts. Dennis, today you chose the topic of mitigating business email compromise. I understand it's long for BEC. Why should we worry about business email compromise?
Yeah, Pierre. So a few things. One is, we've at Proofpoint have been tracking this as we've seen exploits and, from spam to then malware and different types of bad things happening, has moved into BEC, or business email compromise, in 2019 and really picked up pace in 2020. The FBI talks about it of $26 billion in losses. It's the number one threat vector in email, and bad actors can take on identities of anybody within the organization if they're not locked down properly, or they can turn your supply chain into a weaponized supply chain. Risky suppliers with compromised account activity, emailing somebody's organization becomes a real issue. So that's where we focused our efforts. We built an amazing platform around that to be able to help our customers deal with these highly targeted, low volume attacks.
And if we go back to targeting emails, how easy is it for a hacker to have somebody to fall into the trick?
It literally happens every day, and more than once a day is an easy answer. So I'll give you just a few quick stats. So
yes.
In the last year, we've been doing what we call advanced BEC notifications, where we use our data to let our customers know that typically, unbeknownst to them, somebody in their organization is exchanging an email with a bad actor and probably doesn't know it. And the invoice scam, payroll scam, gift card scam, whatever it is about to go down. And so we, on average, are doing 7 of those a day. The largest we stopped was 194 million. They go down to $50 gift cards. So yeah, there's some whoppers out there. Yeah, I mean, Facebook and Google, they were hit back in the day with a couple 100 million. So this is from the biggest to big. Like I say, down to just your basic, hey, I'm out of the office. Can you get these gift cards at $50 each?
Wow, because obviously there's always the implication, the reputation from the company that's been hacked. So they try to keep low profile about this.
Right. Yeah. And the 26 billion, to your point, is only what's reported. So there's millions and millions that doesn't go reported, or the FBI is only working on the biggest one. So you're not getting those smaller organizations that only had, $5,000, $10,000 loss, which is huge for them. It could be a tile manufacturer, somebody that just has a small contractor, gets a fake invoice and pays it, and that could mean a lot of money to them. Could be almost their payroll for the month.
Yeah, you've addressed something very interesting as you accepted the invite and explained what the title was all about. You are saying endangering the logistics of the company, the supply chain. Mm-hmm. From an email, how do I put my supply chain down? Not for my own intentions, but how does it work?
Yeah, so a couple of things there. So the way that Proofpoint has built this out, I mentioned the term platform. The platform really does come into play in the sense that we use a threat graph that allows us to look at our 8,000 gateways. So Proofpoint's foundation are email gateways. So any organization that's sending, receiving email, a lot of them have Office 365. The email comes in and we sit behind Office 365 and we're doing things like mitigating the spam, creating a journal, looking at are the attachments malicious in nature, maybe a bad URL you're about to click on, sandbox. You probably heard of that term, sandboxing an attachment. Is it going to be a bad thing? And so what we're doing is we're looking with machine learning and AI, what we're receiving, does it look legitimate or not? And with our 8,000 gateways and our other products and our information protection services, like a CASB product is able to tell us, you know what, for that supply chain partner, we've seen some type of account takeover activity. We've seen lookalike domain activity. We've seen them impersonated hitting our other domains. So I'm going to let you, customer, know that your supply chain partner has been detected of chalking up bad activity. So you need to be on notice and know that we've seen in sort of a wide net that we've cast out there, the spread is what we call it, across the spread of all of our gateways. We've seen this type of activity. And then we get down to their gateway and we say, now for you, with that supply chain partner, you've received 3 malicious emails, 2 phishing messages, and then we can tell you who in the organization received those so that they can then be trained properly with security awareness training. Hey, you're getting supply chain emails that have phishing messages in them, and this is what you should be looking for. So that way it's not just generic training. So we really round it out with the technology to identify the risk, all the way through who received that, and let's ensure that they are properly trained so that they know what to be looking for, because they are now what we would call a VAP, or a very attacked person. They're being targeted, and the bad actor feels like that's the right person to go hit to extract money.
Because what you're telling me, as I understand it, is that you have means to make sure that you don't detect false positives. You look at what is normal, what is not normal. Does it fit the pattern? Does it fit the customer or not? Or the receiving end? It's like a behavioral analysis of the emails, something like that.
Yeah, Pierre, it is. And it's a really important point you make, because the false positives will create a noise that drives the security teams, the IT teams, and messaging teams crazy. And I'll give you a good example. This new advanced BEC detection engine that we're releasing to all of our customers at no charge that have our gateway, we ran that up against what's called in the industry now, they're called helper apps. And some of these helper apps are trying to say, hey, I'll be sort of that belt and suspenders for your gateway. I'll sit behind it and I'm going to look for BEC messages. We did a head-to-head with a number of those, and our customers were stunned at what came out of it. Things like just basic spammy email was being flagged as BEC. Notifications, computer notifications that say machine generated. Oh, you've got this server has an IO buffer limit that it's about to hit. Yeah. So important information for your IT team to know. That was being classified as a BEC message. So good email being classified bad, basic garbage spam being classified BEC, which is wrong. And then the third and worst is they completely miss some of these, because you've got to have the data lakes to know the sending IP. Have we seen anything bad come from there? What are the heuristics of this that really tip off our engine that the others didn't catch? And having 8,000 gateways is a lot of information, especially when we have the lion's share of the Fortune 1000, over 60%, and the Global 2000, the who's who of the Global 2000. So a lot of data for us to really tune this engine with our AI.
See, what I found in the market throughout the conversations that I have with yourselves and other specialists and your colleagues at Proofpoint too. Last week it was about CASB. That was my IT break. We find out that, especially here in Quebec, lots of what we call Fortune 500 for you guys would be like a Fortune 1 million. Tiny outfits, okay? Yeah. But they think that they're not in danger. Completely wrong. They are targets. Why? Because they're vulnerable. And they have little knowledge of what is good behavior. So obviously, smart algorithms like what you supply does help them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that we do is we come in and we help with, and I don't want to dive down a technical path there, but there's an acronym, DMARC, D-M-A-R-C, and messaging teams know what this is. It's about authenticating who should be sending for an organization. So I'll just use RBC as an example because they're a customer of ours. We've helped RBC lock down all of their third-party senders, companies like Salesforce and MailChimp and Mailgun, these that send out perhaps marketing emails that are very important for their customers to receive, or they're sending out sales-related emails for their brokers and others. Well, what they don't want to have happen is anybody get confused and wonder, is this really coming from RBC or not? This DMARC protocol allows us to ensure only the legitimate third-party senders are acting on behalf of the domains that RBC owns. So what RBC can then say to their vendor community and to their customers is, we've locked down our domains. We know nobody can spoof us or act like us in an email to you. And what they did is they asked their vendor community to do the same. They said, we've taken the measures to ensure we're not going to be impersonated. We're now asking for you, if you're doing business with us, to do the same. And so we're helping them on that journey as well, so that they can identify any risky suppliers and know good from bad. And they're, by them doing that, they're really pushing the global community to also adopt good authentication technology.
I never thought of that, but it does ensure that you trust your vendor. I would trust RBC if I get something from RBC from a third party, because you've gone through the first check. Understanding the technology, how difficult would it be to try to do this on your own? Is it feasible?
Well, you never say no. I mean, if it's, to be honest with you, if it's an organization that, they've got a very, very small footprint, an SMB or small medium business, they've got one domain, they've got some tools that are open protocol tools that they could work with. And maybe if they've got an IT shop that they outsource and do some work with. But once you start getting into, 300 employees or more, and you're really worried about, do I have the right filtering to know, am I getting good versus bad here? You've got to have the data, number one. So you've got to lean on a company that's going to get you the right data. One of the things that Proofpoint offers and that we take pride in is we protect on the consumer side and we protect on the B2B or the business side, which is really critical because those are two different data lakes when you look at it. And somebody like an RBC, they're emailing and going back and forth with consumers, which is across, your Gmails, Yahoo, Bell Canada.
Yep.
That's very different types of senders and traffic and data. Then when you look at an RBC supply chain partner, that's not going across Gmail and Yahoo. You've got to get your intelligence off of those gateways. And so I go back to Proofpoint having those 8,000 gateways. That's where we can tell them in their B2B ecosystem what's happening. So there's really multiple ecosystems at play. You've got to have the data. You've got to have the right tools. We wrap this also with managed support, so we bring experts to the game to help our customers.
The landscape has changed. I mean, of course, the hackers, every big company knows that it's a target. So if I were a hacker, I would go under the radar and target those that think that, nobody cares about me. No, I'm not going to get attacked. Well, as I understand, yes, you will. It's we always say, if it has not happened, it will happen. It's only a matter when. That's the name of the game today. Dennis, as a closing argument, we have a minute left. How should we tackle a project like this?
Yeah, I think first thing you do is you do publish a DMARC record, work with somebody to understand who's sending on your behalf, understand what that environment looks like so that then you know what you've got to go tackle. Make sure if you're using just, say, Office 365 environment, talk to somebody at Proofpoint. We do POCs at no cost. We can show you, what we would stop on the backside of an Office 365 environment. That's why we're around. That's been the one driver for our business and our growth. And then the other thing that I would say is be sure you're also looking at, from a protecting your information perspective, make sure that there's no loss of data out there, that somebody, sometimes they're either maliciously taking it with, a fob off the side of the machine or sending it to a Gmail account. So, look at data loss, make sure that, you've got the right systems in place, especially as people migrate to cloud applications. Know who's accessing those applications and what they're doing with the data. You don't want it to walk off premise. So I think those are the things you really foundationally need to look at and make sure you've actually got the visibility, which we can certainly help with.
Very good closing argument, because that's exactly what we spoke about with your colleague last week, Casby, the stuff going out, because we never monitor. The point is stealing is not to just look at it, but to get out with it. People always don't recognize that. They protect themselves not so that people don't get in, but the point of getting in is to get out. That's why they do it.
That's right. Yep.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. That was very interesting. Other good advices from Proofpoint. Thank you very much. Folks, thank you for having joined us today on this edition 43. All our IT breaks and this podcast today is recorded and will be available on our hub of content at hub.navipro.com. Again, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Dennis. And
thank you.
Hopefully our audience will be there next time for our edition 43. Thank you very much and have a great day. You want access to a range of cutting-edge information? Go to our online content area at hub.navipro.com.